What is the dumbest solution to a problem that actually worked? It was the mid-90s, long before everyone had a phone in their pocket and Google could walk you through a crisis. I was driving an old beater sedan, one of those mid-tier models that always had something wrong but never enough to force you to get rid of it. The kind of car where the AC barely worked, the windows stuck halfway down, and the dashboard lights flickered when you hit a bump. I had driven out to a town about 80 miles away to help a buddy move some furniture. One of my headlights had already burned out earlier that week, but I figured I could handle one quick trip before I had to deal with it. Classic mistake. Everything was fine on the drive out. No cops, no drama, no problems. But the universe has a sense of humor. While I was loading up the last piece of furniture at his place, I noticed something off when I flicked the headlights back on. My one working light had finally given up too. Total darkness up front. I stepped out, checked it to be sure, and yep, both low beams were toast. Only the high beams worked now. I didn't have a dollar to my name, no credit cards, no nearby open stores, and no one I knew in town who could help. And the sun had just gone down. I sat there in the parking lot trying to figure out if I should just sleep in the car and deal with it in the morning or risk the drive home. But I had to work the next day. And the idea of missing a shift because of a light bulb felt stupid. So I said screw it, high beams it is. Didn't even make it 2 miles out of town before I started getting flashed and honked at. Every other car that passed me hit me with a full-on retaliation high beam to the face, like they were all personally offended by my existence. Honestly, I didn't blame them. Driving with high beams the whole way down a highway is basically begging to get pulled over or punched in the face. Sure enough, about 15 miles in, I saw red and blue in the rear view. Officer was a younger guy, not a total hard ass, just looked tired and bored. He asked if I knew why he stopped me, and I told him straight up. Headlights went out, high beams were all I had. He gave a tired sigh and said something like, well, you're not gonna make it another 20 miles before someone else stops you. I asked if he had any ideas. He shrugged and said no, told me to be careful and let me go. I pulled off at the next gas station. No money meant no fixing anything, and this was long before you could Venmo your cousin for 10 bucks. I went inside, grabbed one of those big styrofoam cups they had next to the fountain machine, filled it with water, took it outside, and dumped it in the dirt near the curb. I mixed it around with a stick until it turned into this thin, soppy mud, more watery than chunky. I didn't really have a plan yet, just some vague notion that maybe I could do something to take the edge off those blinding beams. I dipped both hands in and smeared it across both headlight lenses until they looked like someone had vandalized my car with chocolate pudding. It actually stuck better than I thought. Made a weird film over the glass that dulled the brightness without totally blocking the light. I didn't wipe the whole thing clean, just left this sort of mud haze over the beams. I got back on the road, fully expecting to get stopped again or at least cause an accident. But the honking stopped. No more flashing high beams from passing cars. No more angry hand gestures. I passed 2 sheriff's cruisers, and neither of them even blinked. It was like I'd suddenly turned invisible. The muddy high beam diffuser worked like a charm. I made it the remaining 60+ miles back home without so much as a dirty look. By the time I pulled into my driveway, the mud had mostly dried into this dusty crust, but the trick held the whole way. Next morning, I washed it off and got new bulbs like a responsible adult. But to this day, that might be the dumbest solution to a problem I've ever come up with that actually worked. Sometimes all you need is desperation, dirt, and just enough brain power to smear it in the right place.